And you know we don't really care, cause we're just doing what we want. She likes it when I treat her good. She likes it when I treat her bad. She likes to travel all around. I take her everywhere and back. Yeah, oh, you fucking with the man, girl. You throw it right back, no, I like that. I'ma bite back, you know I've become a fan, girl. The way you throw back like a Kodak, girl, you own that. Cruise around without a plan, girl. We'll never go back, girl, you know that. You were so bad, let's just spend a couple grand, girl. You know you're fucking with the man, girl. Yeah. Oh, you could've been a good girl, but instead you chose a real world. Yeah, you've always been a savage. Oh, you've always been a bad chick. I don't care if you got issues. Daddy left, but I'm with you. So come with me and never look back. We're living life like a badass. Oh, you could've been a good girl, but instead you chose a real world. Yeah, you've always been a savage. Oh, you've always been a bad chick. I don't care if you got issues. Daddy left, but I'm with you. So come with me and never look back. We're living life like a badass. Cruising PCH with the top down, drop down, headed nowhere fast, never stop now, not now. We ain't slowing down, never knowing that. We're just headed south, what it's all about, never had a doubt, yeah. She be sitting shotgun, she a hot one, in the hot sun, crop top on. I'ma hop on, every single day, head a different way. Never stay in place, don't care what they say, we gon' do it anyway. Always by my side, oh, we're living life right. Every night, we just drive by, cruising high life, we're alive. Not just getting by, not just letting life pass right underneath the side, grab it real tight. Okay, every day is a new day in a new place, rent a new space, see a new face in a few days, move a new way to a new state. That's great, rent an estate for our next day. Oh, you could have been a good girl, but instead you chose a real world. Yeah, you've always been a savage. Oh, you've always been a bad chick. I don't care if you got issues. Daddy left, but I'm with you. So come with me and never look back. We're living life like a badass. Oh, you could have been a good girl, but instead you chose a real world. Yeah, you've always been a savage. Oh, you've always been a bad chick. I don't care if you got issues. Daddy left, but I'm with you. So come with me and never look back. We're living life like a badass. The wind is blowing through her hair. We like to head out on the road. And you know we don't really care, cause we're just doing what we want. She likes it when I treat her good. She likes it when I treat her bad. She likes to travel all around. I take her everywhere and back. Yeah, oh, you fucking with the man, girl. You throw it right back, no, I like that. I'ma bite back, you know I've become a fan, girl. The way you throw back like a Kodak, girl, you own that. Cruise around without a plan, girl. We'll never go back, girl, you know that. You were so bad, let's just spend a couple grand, girl. You know you're fucking with the man, girl. Yeah. Oh, you could have been a good girl, but instead you chose a real world. Yeah, you've always been a savage. Oh, you've always been a bad chick. I don't care if you got issues. Daddy left, but I'm with you. So come with me and never look back. Living life like
Hello, hello, hello. Sorry, I was getting stuff ready. That wasn't actually up chat. Hello. I got myself a ginger ale. Ta-da! Hello, hello! Alright, have a message on Discord. I'm not going to watch this yet, Jordan, because I don't know what the hell that is. So, yeah. Also, Netflix. Yes, Netflix is my starting soon screen. By the way, guys, I accidentally deleted my stream activity again. So I will not be able to see my stream activity because I'm big smart. why, okay, look, the reason why is because it hard lagged and I was like, and I accidentally clicked delete and it made me very sad. But it's okay. It's fine. I have Streamlabs, like, stream labels up. That's good enough. That's good enough. It'll tell me who follows and if anyone raids. So, I'm fine with that. I can work. But hello everybody. Just want to say, you know my computer is dying when I can't even stream this game hardly. It took 5 tries, right? 5 tries to get this to stream it because it kept saying that I was dropping like 85% of my frames. Oh. Yes, dear. Ta-da! You will never finish this game. I won't. Let's see how many hours of gameplay. Don't say that to me. Don't say that. Don't say that to me. Who's texting me? Let's stop texting me. Oh, that was a call button looking at my phone right now. You know what? I'm not going to look at Discord anymore. So you go ahead and call me, sweetie. I'm not looking at Discord.
Good night.
What the fuck did the game just do? Because, huh? It literally just, like, sped through the thing for absolutely no reason. There we go. Thank you, game. I love it when you do that. Alright, so if I remember correctly, we just had a nice little conversation. Alright, motherfucker. Alright. Someone gets blocked on Steam. Somebody gets blocked on No. Denied. Manage. Notifications. Do not. Confirm! I can't escape you. I turned off notifications, bitch. You motherfucker. Fighting evil by moonlight, winning love by daylight. We're running from a real fight. Is the one named Sailor Moon. Becker, are you happy? Look. You people make me sad. You people are why I have a spending problem. You stress me out and then I buy things to make myself feel better. Okay, so if I remember correctly, we just had a nice chat with Cove about our future plans now that we have graduated high school. And he gave us his very Cove-like plan of he doesn't really know what the fuck he's doing. Anyway, so he'll say that he'll see us tomorrow. And I'll see him and all that. That's great. He pulled you into an unexpected hug and knocked the breath out of you. Yet, it couldn't have been a more reassuring feeling. You returned his embrace and stayed that way for as long as you could.
Good night.
Good night, Cove. He finally let go, giving you another smile. Then Cove started walking away, but you remained there, frozen in the middle of the street. You watched him and wondered how many more times will he be able to say that he'll see you tomorrow. You hoped for countless more times. Finally, you turned towards your own house. You vowed to yourself that you would make the most out of every moment you had this summer. Oh, trust me, you are, because it's taken like a month just to get through this little section where I didn't get to choose what we're doing. Oh! Look at it! We're finally here! We're finally here! Oh! We finally made it! We made it! We fucking made it! This is Baxter's DLC. You can play 5 new moments centered around Baxter. He has special epilogue in Step 4 to unlock you when you fulfill these conditions. Play through all 5 of his Step 3 moments. To do so, you must choose to be unfond or crush with Baxter in Step 3. Choosing indifferent will lock Baxter's Step 3 moments and epilogue. 1 month being a year. To be fair, it's more than 8 hours. Thank you. Wait, it's quite a bit more than 8 hours. You must also include Baxter during the hang moment in step 3, which can be accessed from both Cove step 3 moments and Baxter's. Then, you'll have the option to play Baxter's epilogue during step 4. You can only have one epilogue per playthrough. You can make another save on the epilogue selection page to reload there and pick another later. Baxter's DLC can be a friendship or a romance story. Obviously, we're going to romance Baxter, because, like, what is the fucking point? We fucking made it. We fucking made it here, man. Very happy. Alright. So you can do these really in any order. It doesn't quite matter. But, which one you guys want to do? There's also a couple of these that, he's in. I know he's in Hang, because that's kind of like, not this one. I know he's also in the boating one. A little bit. So, which one you guys want to do? I'll be nice, despite you guys trying your hardest to derail me. I'll let you guys choose which one we do. What, Jordan? Oh, fuck. What do you want? If no one picks something, I'll choose at random. The illusion of choice? What do you mean? What do you mean the illusion of choice? I mean, there are ones that will reference the other ones if you do it in order, I think. I think if you do it from left to right, some of these on this end will reference some of these, but that's about it. Alright, then I'm gonna pick. I'm gonna close my eyes. Well, I kind of landed in the middle, didn't I? How about drinks? We'll go for drinks. I think drinks is a nice first little, wait. No, I know what drinks is. Never mind. We can't do drinks. Let's do hangout first. Drinks is kind of real far into the relationship, in my opinion. Alright. So we have chosen the hangout one, which I believe you're really just hanging out with all your friends, but then you're going to invite Baxter. The stars had magically aligned, and somehow everyone was free today. But it was more than just luck. You owed it all to Miranda's determination. She set things up over several phone calls to find the perfect window to hit the beach. You couldn't wait to meet up with... Well, we're bringing Baxter, of course. We have to bring Baxter. Coordinating schedules had been especially rough lately, but you didn't let that stop you from organizing your grand plan. You wanted your new friend to be included in all the fun. Which is fine. Baxter has, like, 2 things scheduled in his entire trip here. Everything else is just left up in the air until the moment he decides to do something. Yes, Cat, I'm coming. Go. 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 No! Nah! Okay, so one of the kittens wanted out of my room, so I let her out, and the other one tried to come into my room, and I refused. Refuse. No, Nori. No Nori in my room right now. She's learning from Nani, so now she's digging at the door. It's fine. After a bit of messaging with the others, you had brought up the possibility of adding Baxter to the mix. No one objected to your request, so you and Terry swiftly put his phone number to good use. Baxter had been flattered to be thought of that early in the planning stage. Funnily enough, he had been the easiest one to account for, despite being far and away the newest guy on the block. Baxter was able to rearrange his schedule to whatever everyone else needed, and you and Terry relayed the remaining details to Cove and Miranda later. Your hopes were high. Almost everyone knew each other to varying degrees, but this would be Miranda and Baxter's first time meeting. And Randy is very shy. And yet you weren't that worried. Deep down, you had a pretty good feeling that they'd get along once they got to spend a little time together. That's where things stood. I'm sorry, Cove, honey, but you're not in my room right now. I'm so sorry. You gotta go. Baxter would be coming by your room any minute now to meet up ahead of time. And I think I'm like changing right now, so that's fun. The prior evening, Baxter texted you for advice. He had been caught between his options. Should he come to you? Or should he hang back and you'd come get him when your friends were ready? You eased his troubles by simply inviting him to your house. You thought it would be nice to hang out with him before the official hangout. Checking the clock, there was a small window to get ready before Baxter arrived. Despite being well past morning, you're wearing your pajamas. You had known you didn't have anywhere to be until the beach trip and had a lazy start to the day, but still. We're going to put a swimsuit on since we're going to the beach. Because the beach is not that far away from our house, so we just walk there. You knew it was clean and folded in one of your drawers. It was more of a question of which one. As you searched, you couldn't help your mind wandering. Your height had complicated your swimsuit shopping. Not many swimsuits were well-fitting on someone who's petite. And then for the shape of your body, this is too true. This is too painful. No, this doesn't. No, I want curvy. Where? Game. We've been over this. We've had options before game where we talked about my cup size. Where is my curvy option? I guess. Guess medium. And body is soft or delicate. You know, I think it's more delicate than soft at this point. Delicate. There is a fragility to your build. You had to be careful with it. Damn right. Staring down at yourself, your train of thought drifted until you were lost. Ah, here it is again. At birth, you were assigned female, and always felt sure about gender. Being called her was right for you. As opposed to when you were younger, you... What? I'm confused because they're acting like I didn't have breasts back then, but I distinctly remember choosing that I did because that was the, like, real life. But yeah, we got breasts. That's fine. And the pain. So see, in the modern day, it's not so bad getting swimsuits. For all you boys out there, for a long time, long time, it was hard to get swimsuits as a girl who may or may not be curvy and well endowed. You used to have to switch out swimsuit parts because they would be sold together and be one size and not necessarily fit both your top and bottom. Now, though, they allow you to buy them separately. I know this specifically because my mom was the same way at my age and had to sneakily switch out the sizes in the changing room for the top because she needed a bigger top compared to the bottom, and they didn't sell it like that. They didn't sell them separately. It all came together. So, just a little information, I guess. Well, but like I said, it doesn't matter in modern day. It's fine nowadays. Your boobs are a large part of your frame. It truly. The love-hate relationship. I do not want them to ever be bigger. And they're probably going to get bigger if I ever have children, which is depressing to me. Might get a reduction, you know, again. The problem with that is, if I get pregnant, my boobs are probably going to grow again. So then that completely negates the reduction. Anytime you gain weight, actually, you will basically lose the reduction. Like, there's no point. It will just come back. Big waste of money. Ultra waste of money. So I guess we're just gonna say, yeah, I like them. When we really, truly don't. People had a lot of their identity wrapped up in their physical form. It shaped their self-image. Not content with mine. I never have been. There were things you didn't like. You didn't hate it per se, but it wasn't all that you wanted it to be either. It wasn't until a steady knock fell against the door that you snapped back to the present reality. Baxter was already here and you haven't even changed yet. Swallowing thickly, you knew that you couldn't just ignore him. You pivoted towards the door. Come in? The knob wiggled and the door glided open. Baxter cordially stepped in, catching your eye with an already developed grin.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. I can't do the voice. I must tell you again how touched I am by your thoughtfulness. You didn't have to open your door to me and play host even before our scheduled plans. And truthfully, I'm taking the fact that I'm allowed to be standing here as a fortunate sign. A neighbor at most would have been set aside in the living room, if they were welcome into the house in the first place. Yeah, well... Yeah, well, Baxter, a warm blush, under your skin. Okay, wow, I had stroke. A warm blush rose under your skin while you struggled to form a response. His candidness flustered you completely. Hi. Oh yeah, this is the kind of cringe. This is the social awkwardness that I have in real life. Yeah, that's perfect. Baxter nodded graciously and inched forward, letting his gaze curiously examine this new space. You noticed his posture relaxing the longer he was there.
Charming.
A ukulele? That's a ukulele? Huh? I thought that was a guitar. I thought that was a guitar. Wait, I thought ukuleles looked different. Am I stupid? Hold on. Am I stupid? Ukulele. Oh my god, they do look like that. I thought they looked a little different. Uh-oh. Ah, I see. And I thought it was too big to be a ukulele. I'm thinking like the tiny ones. Alright, so I play a ukulele and not a guitar. Good to know. They make such a charming sound. Thanks, I like it a lot too. My stupid ass doesn't even know it's a ukulele. My cat is screaming at me. Hello. That was rude as shit. All of a sudden I just heard her scream at me and I looked down at her and she screamed at me again. Hi, what are you doing? Hi, sugar. You want out? Meow. Yeah, I know you do, sugar. Okay. Go on. Alright. There are no other cats in my room right now except for Nani. And she is in her spot on our agreed upon terms on my bed. So, she should be fine. She's half asleep right now, so she's fine for now. We got time before she wakes up. Okay. I like how I feel like I'm being rushed to do things before my cat like wakes up and terrorizes me. Baxter shifted his attention back to you directly. For a split second, his gaze flickered down your outfit and his polite exterior faltered. Hey, buddy, don't make fun of me.
I apologize.
I have to wonder, did I perhaps arrive early? My mistake, truly. Thank you, Baxter, for trying to let me save face. Your knee-jerk confusion at that comment quickly melted away. His discretion over your pajamas was appreciated. But to be fair, she is right. You're not dressed either. Are you planning on still changing to a swimsuit, or you're going like that, buddy? The latter. No, not happening. You are getting in your swimsuit. I know you have a swimsuit, and I'm about to bully you to get into it. Baxter answered with such ease that you honestly couldn't tell if he was joking or not. Well, I am certainly looking forward to spending an afternoon on the beach with all of you. I will not be getting into the ocean. There was more of a hint of insistence in his tone, and it was completely unexpected from the up-for-anything mouth of Baxter Ward. He carelessly ran his fingers through his hair and left it messier than usual. A note of worry rose in his tone. Well, and what if I get a sunburn? I understand you, buddy, but there is sunscreen. Like, I get it. I can't be out in the sun for more than, like, 15 minutes at a time. But you can do sunscreen, I promise. You may have to put it on every 10 minutes like me. Put a new coat on. But you can do it, buddy. I promise. We're likely to spend multiple hours there. I'm not risking making this situation even worse by exposing my entire chest and my legs to the summer sun. By this, Baxter meant his delicate pinky skin. He expressed that by holding his bare arms out towards you. Baxter. Look, have you ever been in the ocean? I've been on boats. Ones that have gone out far from the mainland. That's not the same. No, but that's the closest experience I have. I confess, I haven't actually swum in the ocean at any point or to any degree. Really? Never? I don't blame him. I did a little bit. It wasn't even swimming. I just got beaten up by the waves and pushed around. I literally got, like, thrown off my feet by waves just at the very start of the fucking beach. And then I cried because I skinned my entire legs and hands. That was like 2 years ago, by the way.
Never.
Never. That detail was hard to wrap your brain around. Your moms had been taking you to the beach ever since you were a toddler. Let's see. How do we convince this man to do what we want? Okay, if you consider. I'm not bold enough for that. I'd love to show you what the beach and sea are really like. Oh, that face. Oh, Baxter, you're gonna make me feel bad. Not really. Suck it up. You can do it, pretty boy. Baxter laid a hand across his heart and his brows bent.
In that case...
That is an offer. That is an offer I wouldn't refuse. Ignore what I said previously. I'll certainly wear a swimsuit. Okay, well, he was easy. Alright, so Baxter might be a little bit of a simp. Who knows? I know I'm a simp, but I think Baxter's a little bit of a simp. The shine in his eyes matched the gleam in yours, and yet he remained firmly rooted in place. Baxter was clearly in no rush to leave. Baxter, I need to get dressed, bud. Shuffling uncomfortably, your smile gradually drooped into a line. A part of you had assumed that Baxter would have gone home. How else were you going to get ready if he was still here? Oh. It's okay. It connected. Each part of your face acted as a piece of a puzzle, and they fit together perfectly to reveal to Baxter the discomfort you hadn't meant to express. I fear that I've become an intrusion. I should take this opportunity to go home and change. It's not your fault, buddy, but I would like the privacy, thank you. Really sorry, but I gotta get changed. There's no need to feel sorry about that. I'll promptly take my leave. Something indecipherable flashed across Baxter's face. It's obvious that he had something else to add, but he stopped himself and dipped his head politely instead. He then promptly exited the room, carefully making sure the door was shut all the way. Once you couldn't hear his steps anymore, you released a deep sigh. Baxter was someone you barely knew. Couldn't make him stand there and try to cheer you up over this. You bet he would if you didn't stop him. Oh, probably. Baxter is definitely the type. It's best to avoid the topic. Shaking your head, you hastily shove those thoughts aside. Also, it's not that big of a deal. Like, buddy, you just gotta change. It's fine. It's really not that big of a deal. You promised yourself it was going to be a great day out with your friends and refocus on the task. Alright, now we get to choose what we are going to wear. Yeah, a Speedo. I want to wear a Speedo. So my last swimsuit I had is actually a one-piece, and it's like vintage inspired. Fully black. It's a one-piece, and then it has like a nice little peplum sheer dressy part on top of it, and it's very pretty. Very vintage themed. Hastening by the door, you scan the room one last time. You mentally ran through the list of things you might need later. Alright, so we're grabbing my hat because I do have a sun hat. It is a giant hat. It is an oversized hat, and I love it. It is ridiculously big. With that settled, you were officially ready to leave and meet back up with Baxter. Yeah, take my hat. That's all I need. I do have a swimsuit, like, shawl, but that's fine. It's mostly the hat that I need. Stepping onto the street, you surmised that Baxter wasn't finished as fast as you. He wasn't there. But the absence didn't mean you were alone. Hello, Cove. Cove stood outside his house with his eyes glued to his phone. He tapped out a message just before spotting you. Hey! He crossed the street, returning his greeting with a gentle wave. Have you seen Baxter?
No.
Not yet. Cove. The two of you peered at Baxter's condo, but there was no sign of him. Cove rubbed the back of his neck. I just walked out, and then Terry texted me. Her and Randy should be here pretty soon. They're mostly on schedule, I hope. Cove smiled bent amusingly. He shrugged. I believe him. Want to check on Baxter? Nodding. Okay, so Cove is going to behave. Cove double-checked his phone. Satisfied with what he saw, he slid it back in the pocket of his swim trunks. Cove's fairly neutral attitude on top of Baxter didn't escape your notice. He tended to get uncomfortable whenever Baxter surprised or flustered him, but since things were pre-planned, and for an event favorable to Cove, he didn't seem bothered. Cool, let's go.
Sure.
Okay, a good boy. Give a little head pat. Good boy. Thank you for behaving. The two of you walked unhurried up the street. You hopped up onto the doorstep and rang the bell. A few seconds passed and you shifted your weight on your feet while you waited. But Baxter didn't answer. The pause extended until things reached the point where you felt awkward hovering in front of his shut-up home. You spun towards Cove and he returned your nervous stare with a tight-lipped smile. At least you could take solace in the fact that the mild misery had company. There were only a couple options to pick from. You could either ring the doorbell again, or you could send him a text. Reach for your phone, but a sudden noise through the wood made you stop. There we go. And look at that. And black and white continues. Finally, the door cracked open, and Baxter peered through. He then swung the door open the rest of the way to reveal another entry of his signature grayscale style. Baxter had unsurprisingly changed into a black and gray swimsuit. He paired the trunks with an unbuttoned white shirt. The corners of your mouth curved into amusement to his dedication.
Nice to see you.
Good afternoon. I can't thank you both enough for waiting.
Hey.
Hey, look at the difference in the tan. That's me right there. I'm pale as shit. Yeah, we'll say he's looking good. With a flick of your wrist, you added a finger gun to... Why? Why would you do that? Why would you do that? Why would you add a finger gun, please? Baxter grinned delightfully and gestured to his ensemble. It was fine without the finger gun. Why would you do that?
Oh?
In this thrown together look? Thank you. The atmosphere had become far more laid back. Cove was the one to move things forward. So, I was thinking we could get settled at the beach now, and Terry and Randy can catch up with us there.
I can do that.
I second the idea. While this neighborhood is charming, I think a change in scenery would be preferable. You moved in the direction of the beach while Cove paused to shoot off a quick update. He made sure to let the others know exactly where to find you. I don't mind. Sure, let's just go wherever. I don't care. He flashed a thumbs up as soon as the message was sent, and with that, the three of you strolled down the street. The path you walked was as natural as breathing for you and Cove. For Baxter, it was a brand new experience. Although you might not have been able to tell, he walked straight on, with certainty in his steps that was on par with the locals. Baxter just doesn't care where he ends up, is why. Anywhere that he ends up is fine with him. The ocean stretched as far as the eye could see. It was a perfect day. Clear sky, rolling waves, and an inviting breeze coming across the water to combat the balmy heat. Cove threw his towel down and smoothed out the corners while you settled on a spot for your own things nearby. Baxter, meanwhile, hesitated, merely watching what you two had done. Before you could say anything, Baxter moved forward and picked a small stretch of beach close to yours for his own things. He meticulously laid his pure black towel out over the warm white sand. Turning away, you tried to hold back and hide your laughter. Just so convenient that even here, his black and white color scheme was inescapable. Baxter stared right ahead, hypnotized by the moving water, and carefully lowered himself onto the towel. For you, your family, and your neighbors, the ocean was an old and well-loved friend. But witnessing the wonder dancing through Baxter's eyes reminded you just how vast and awe-inspiring the sight truly was when it was right in front of you. You glanced at Cove and realized that he was taken in by that side of Baxter as well. This beach was a special place for the people of Sunset Bird, and now it was working its magic on Baxter. Cove seemed flattered by the awe and unspoken approval written all over Baxter's face. The scene meant more to him than even the others living there. To appreciate it was to accept him. He hugged his knees to his chest. Oh, Cove. I'm not sure what kind of tism you have, Cove, but you have a tism. I just know it. I am so sure of it. So, what did you want to do? When you didn't answer, Baxter tore his focus away from the water. He was pleasantly surprised to find out that Cove had directed that question to him instead. Oh my god, he's so happy. He's so excited. He gets attention from Cove. He's so happy. Oh, I've been running on the assumption that you all had something in mind. Whatever it is works for me. We don't. Nope, no ideas.
Honestly.
Then truthfully, I'd prefer to stay as dry as possible. Taking a stroll or simply remaining here where we are, enjoying the scenic view, would make a perfect afternoon in my book. But my wants shouldn't interfere with yours. I won't stop anyone from having fun in the water. We're at the shore, and I'm not heartless. Cove messily brushed his hair back and thought about Baxter's idea of a beach trip. His snicker rolled into a rumbling laugh. Guess you're not going to make much use of that swimsuit. It's already served me rather well, I think. Look, Baxter already got a compliment on the swimsuit. He's happy. That was worth however much this designer swimsuit cost. It was worth the payment just to be complimented in it. Between the playful way Baxter's brow arched and his mouth crooked, Cove stopped laughing. He stared back, stunned. Cove, honey. Cove. Please. Let's try to have a stroll with Baxter. Let's see. You stretch your legs in anticipation of popping up soon. Really? That's wonderful. But don't be too surprised. This beach is one of my favorite places to walk and explore. Wanna go look for a new show? Always. It's been a while since I set out to find one on purpose. Last few I stumbled upon. I remember when I went to the beach and got my ass kicked by the fucking waves. I got so many seashells because I was so happy. I was like, yes, this is what I wanted. That's all I wanted to do because I don't swim. I can't swim. I don't know how to swim. And so the water scared me. My mom went farther out than I did. And she's like, come on. It's fine. If you come farther out, the waves won't beat you the fuck up. And I'm like, but I can't swim. Please. So I like followed. So like I was right here, right? Where my little cursor is, right? I was right here. Hanging out in the water. Looking at shells. And then tumbled all the way back because the wave hit me super hard and it just tossed me. Scraped everything on my body that was not covered by the swimsuit. And my mom was like out here-ish. And she was like, oh my god, just come out here. The waves don't hit you that hard out here. And I was like, okay. So like I hobbled and then kind of shimmied along out here. And then I freaked out because my foot no longer touched sand because there was like a little dip and I panicked and almost drowned immediately. And then I ran back up here and just dealt with the waves beating me up. Again, I was 24 at the time. Yeah, I think. Yeah, I was 24 because it was a road trip when my mom turned 50. So my mom's just chilling out here and I'm over here dying, getting beat up by waves. But I got seashells out of it, so I'm happy. Cove laughed, remembering fondly. In the water or not, the beach truly was something special for him and you. Ah, we'll have to be light on our feet then. Luckily, that's something I quite excel at. Cove kicked his heel, sending some grains of sand that had gotten on his towel, sailing. He had done well starting the conversation, but now he was unsure how to keep it going. Luckily, it didn't take long until you heard shouts. You turned your head to see both Randy and Terry running straight for you. Randy was faster, making leaps and bounds across the sand. Terry followed in her wake, laughing with her towel clutched around her shoulders and flowing like a cape. Randy started making her jumps more theatric and more precarious as she got closer. Cove waved at him with a bright grin. Hell yeah, let's cheer him on. Woo! Cheer on the idiot. The idiots. We're the dummies. I've also had a swimsuit just like this before. It was just in a different color. Mine was like black, white, and blue. But I have had a swimsuit just like Randy. Because ruffles are very flattering on curvy girls. So having ruffles is just really, really nice. It looks really good. Anyways. The two officially arrived at your little group setup, looking completely ready for an ocean adventure. They were already in their swimwear and were raring to go. Awkwardly, Cove pointed in Baxter's direction. He remembered that Miranda hadn't actually seen him before. That's Baxter. That. Honey. Oh, the strange man's presence nearby suddenly made a lot more sense to her. Randy shyly waved with a cheerful smile.
Hi.
Hi, nice to meet you. Randy's cute. She's great.
Of course.
Likewise. Baxter offered a handshake and Randy grew confused at his formal gesture, checking the reactions of her friends on if she was the weird one for thinking this was weird. It's fine, Randy. That only made his smile widen. I can assure you that I'm harmless. He knew Randy well enough to recognize that she was the worry she was trying to hide behind a more collected front. It's easy to imagine that she might have felt somewhat intimidated. Baxter had an air of maturity about himself, while Randy was a little bit childish and shy in comparison. Hesitantly, she clasped his hand and gave him a proper shake. Thanks for meeting us here today.
My pleasure.
It's my pleasure. Baxter placed his other hand gently on the back of hers while he spoke. They both let go and Terry sprung forward.
Hey, buddies.
Hello, hello. I don't know why I gave her a gremlin voice. I don't know. I feel like it fits Terry's energy to have a gremlin voice. She teasingly punched Baxter's upper arm. Nice to see you too. Terry had already made her dramatic introduction to him at the start of the summer, so she was excited to skip right to the good part, hanging out. The B-Man is actually here. I can't believe how long it took for everyone to get together. Hi, Cove. And Mimi, too. Thank you, Randy. Hey. Catch us up. Did we miss anything important? Well, besides Baxter in the neighborhood, everything was usual. Same as usual. It's probably a good thing. We might not be so lucky with the next big thing that comes our way. Terry crossed her arms and nodded sagely. Baxter tugged at the collar of his shirt. Really? My presence is the only earth-shattering news being whispered about.
I mean...
It's not that big. Everything's is just even smaller. Oh, okay. I don't know why, but when he said that it's not that big, it kind of just reminds me of a dude.
I mean...
Like, it's like, that guy's dick isn't that big. Oh, God. No, a lot happens besides some new people and the longer wait times at the touristy places in town. Oh, well, hopefully I'm a welcome change of pace during my stay here. Absolutely. Yeah, Terry is ready. Terry is all for it. Terry then started talking about her morning and how she'd almost overslept since she had stayed up too late last night. She bounced on her feet as she spoke. But don't worry about me being tired today. You know I ran on less back during school. Randy filled in the group about her morning. Apparently everything had gone smoothly. She met up with Terry on the way here, and you knew the rest. Cove offered a suggestion to the gang. Hey, let's walk while we catch up.
Okay.
Yeah, definitely. He felt pleased that Cove remembered what you wanted to do. Sometimes he could be thoughtful like that. It's not just what I wanted to do. It's what Baxter wanted to do. Fuck. I was accommodating Baxter. You can't just pretend like Cove is accommodating me. Once everyone's stuff was settled on the beach, the group strolled over to the shoreline. The wet sand was cool under your feet. A wave rushed up and covered your ankles in water. You flinched from the suddenness of it, but by the next wave, you were acclimated. You took another step forward and sank a little into the ground. Behind you, your footprints were soon smoothed by the waves. Your friends chatted as you all walked together, though Baxter remained at a distance to stay dry. You took turns pointing out cool shells or pieces of sea glass. It was a relaxing jaunt. Hours passed, and the group had moved between different activities, some low-key and others more exhaustive. For you, it was break time. Baxter agreed. He sat on your towel, sipping at some water, and he rested on his. Your friends were hard at work bearing Terry's full body under a pile. Randy used her arms to force up sand around Terry's sides. Cove worked on covering Terry's feet. He took another drink and glanced over at Baxter. He was staring at the water, but there was an entirely different feeling radiating from him. Rather than pure awe, there was a level of discomfort marring Baxter's expression. He wondered what was bothering him. Suddenly, he turned towards you as if he could feel your curiosity prodding at him. He surprised you with a kind smile. There's a reason why I've never gone in the ocean before. Baxter let that hang there and absent-mindedly brushed some sand off of his thigh. He hadn't elaborated earlier, and you weren't quite sure if he was going to now. Quickly, it became clear that he was carefully choosing his words. The last thing you wanted was to push him.
Well,
Well, the idea of being fully immersed in the ocean is a bit frightening. I get it completely. I don't know how to swim, but I'm okay in like a pool. Pool's fine. Ocean, no. Ocean, bad. Ocean, lake, river, bad. Just bad.
well,
I accidentally scrolled backwards. It seems endlessly deep and unpredictable with powerful waves and rapid currents. And there are creatures lurking in there. Some of them are larger than me. It's unfathomable. You don't play with something like that. I get you.
yes.
If I enter that water, I'll never return from it. The ocean will swallow me whole. That's what I think. I feel ya. His smile strained under the weight of his growing nervousness. Baxter had always carried himself so calmly. This genuine vulnerability left you speechless. And then you heard Miranda screech. Your attention immediately switched over to your friends. You registered that Terry had gotten impatient and shifted her legs. The walls Randy had been meticulously building collapsed into a wet heap of sand. She surveyed the damage critically. We're going to have to start over on that part. Do you want to give up on this now? No way! The burial must continue! I'll try not to move anymore. Okay. If you're sure, I'll try to fix this. Randy started to rebury her, and Terry shot her a thumbs up. She realized too late that moving her arm was a bad idea. More of the sand on her crumbled, and Randy put her head in her hands.
Don't worry about it.
Don't worry, I got that part. Randy nodded at him with appreciation. They got back to work, redoubling their efforts to pile sand over the limbs of their friend. Baxter caught your eye, and you both snickered at the interruption. As it grew quiet again, you offered Baxter some words. Let's try going in just a little bit, though, Baxter. Come on. Just your feetsies. Let's get your feetsies. Baxter's near perpetual smile flattened into a thin line. He swallowed visibly. I'm not saying you should go for a swim. You could get your feet wet. Feel the waves brush against your toes. Your shellless toes. He ruminated on your suggestion for several seconds. Gradually, you caught the upturned twist of his lips.
It's doable.
Well, I suppose I could manage that. This poor man is a simp. He has to be. I refuse to believe that I am able to very quickly change his mind twice in one day otherwise. Oh, hello! Hello! Thank you for the raid! Hi, Night Night! Weren't you playing Minecraft? Were you on the SMP? Hello, welcome. How are you? Take a drink. Alright, then let's go. Oh, my squeaky chair. Yes, I was finally able to get back on. That's good. Sorry you're having problems with it. I also need to get on the SMP soon, but it's kind of boring to play Minecraft without friends and people are busy. So I haven't played it. But Nikolai does want to do something on there, so I will probably be playing on there soon again. Let's see. The two of you got up and approached the ocean's edge. As soon as the water rushed forward and tickled his skin, the air got caught in his throat and Baxter froze in place. Let's give him our hand. His lip twitched, and then Baxter immediately latched onto you, moving closer. You tried not to splash him. You knew this was a huge moment for Baxter, and you were willing to give him all the time he needed. Gradually, he was able to release a calming breath. He squeezed you and offered a tentative smile. You gave him a reassuring squeeze back. It's not enough for me because it's for... Oh, really? Oh, hell yeah. I hope you enjoy the mods we chose then. Some of the mods are not exactly new modded player friendly, I don't think. Like the create mod. Some of them aren't really explained all that well. But I like the mods we have. There we go. We already read that. Baxter inched further until the water crept up on his calf. He watched the water swirl around him as it moved with the tide, and then surprisingly, he chuckled at the sensation. You know, this is rather nice. Yeah?
But
But this is as far as I go. I'm positive on that point. That's okay. Right here is perfect. I'm just glad this wasn't too bad for you. I figured out... Fill the air with air tank. Fill air with the air tank thing? What? What air tank thing? I'm assuming that's a crate mod thing. Which I don't do. I stay away from the crate mod. That's all Nikolai and Son. I stay away from that. I did the cooking mods. That was my contribution. The cooking and the decoration mods. They were my contribution to that server. As am I. Baxter stayed there and viewed the waves not from a distance, but from within their embrace. His nerves ebbed until you two were relaxed in that bubble of each other's company. At least by your side, he could enjoy the feeling in the ocean from a safe level.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Resembling the Kool-Aid Man, she kicked herself out of the ground with gusto. Sand went flying in all directions, and a Terry-shaped imprint was left behind. Randy yelled again, and Cove chuckled. There probably wasn't a better way to get out of it. The suddenness of the incident startled you and Baxter enough to let go of each other's hands. You didn't get to join in on burying Terry, but you didn't mind. The one-on-one time you did get with Baxter was something you wouldn't have missed. You waved cheerily to your friends, and the five of you regrouped about halfway between the towels and the destroyed tomb. Man, I'm ready to wash this off. Terry looked down at herself and laughed. She tried brushing the wet and mushy sand off, but most of it some really clung on. She only succeeded in moving around where it was on her. Let's finally jump in.
So great.
Yeah, that'd be great. Yeah, you guys go have fun. The two of them eagerly turned their attention to the rest of the gang for your input. Baxter folded his arms across his chest. Oh, don't worry about me. It was never my intention to swim. Please don't let that stop your fun. He echoed the same statement he made to you earlier that way. Wait, what?
Well,
It's simply not my preference. Terry squinted and thoroughly scrutinized him. She wasn't satisfied with his answer.
Uh-huh.
I think I get it. You're new here. You don't know what to do in the Great White Sea. Just hold on to my back and I'll take you out into the water with me. No, Terry. Terry, no. While I greatly appreciate the gesture, I must decline. I've experienced as much of the salt water as I want to already. Are you sure? I can totally handle it. I'm a lifeguard in training. Terry, I thought you hadn't signed up yet. Shh, I will, and that's what counts.
thank you.
But it's so sad to leave you out. You know, me and Cove only became friends in the first place because we're beach people. You can be a beach man too, B-man. Her crestfallen gaze slid to Cove. He nodded understandingly. Surprisingly, Baxter chuckled.
I get it.
I understand where you're coming from, and I'm sorry for any upset I might have caused. But please, trust me on this one. I'm perfectly fine. I may not be much of a seafaring man, but I have gone swimming before. Pools and lakes are no trouble to me. In fact, I would guess I've done certain water-based activities that some of you might be too nervous to try. Oh, Cove, do not take him up on that. Don't. Cove, don't. I love that Cove just instantly takes the bait, right? Cove's lips pursed. He raised his chin and stared. Not so much threatened by Baxter's accusation, but insulted he would even make such a challenge.
Seriously?
Like what, sir? Like what? I surf? Dad, whose entire business is about water-based activities. I went on jet ski when I was 8. What could you have done? Cove, why must you take the bait? You're too easy. Baxter straightforwardly answered the question. Skinny dipping. Terry's just like, yep. I always love their faces at this scene, because Terry's just like, yeah, I could have seen that coming. Poor Cove is just dumbfounded. Cove is speechless, panicked. Cove's jaw dropped. The suggestion left him scandalized and the reddest you've ever seen him. That doesn't count! So, you haven't done it then. You might want to, especially since you already enjoy the water. It's rather liberating. Baxter wasn't making an honest recommendation. You could tell it wasn't his intention to come across mocking Cove's lack of experience there. However, Cove was still completely thrown. That suggestion of Baxter's was even worse than implying he was more confident in the water than Cove. The silent beat was broken by Randy's embarrassed attempt to stifle her giggles with the palm of her hand. Her cheeks had grown flushed, and you knew it would be a while until she was confident enough to even dare make eye contact with Baxter again. Terry, meanwhile, gave Baxter an impressed nod, and then instantly lost all composure. She fell into a boisterous fit of laughter, holding tightly onto her own stomach. I think it's funny. I think this entire scene is funny. Facepalming, you shook your head in an attempt to be disapproving, but the moment you peeked at Baxter, there was no stopping the wide grin stretching ear to ear. Of course he'd been skinny dipping. And of course he was dropping that fact without hesitation in front of 4 people he hardly knew.
Is that fine?
Did I say something wrong? Thing is, he's 18 right now, so I don't know when he did this skinny dipping. No, he's 19. I think he's a little older than you. I think he's 19. Because he's already been at college for a year, so he's 19. So I don't know when he did this skinny dipping, but playful note in his voice told you everything you needed to know. Baxter was fully aware and enjoying the big chaos he unleashed on the group.
Is that fine?
I did not mean to click backwards, please. I didn't mean to do that. He exhaled deeply and did not comment. No one else added anything on the topic of Baxter's skinny dipping adventures either. Why not? You're all cowards. Cowards. Ask more questions. It was back to the drawing board on what to do next. After a while, the gang mutually decided it would be best to go do something that was not water-based. The 5 of you continued to have a good time. You went on a shell hunt. Randy managed to find the biggest while you found the most colorful. Cove caught a tiny crab. You did a bit of everything. There were impromptu games to just soaking up each other's company. However, after a while you all ran out of water, drinkable water anyways. It was decided that you'd head to Cove's house or yours. Things were gathered and you started to cheerfully walk up the road. What's next? I don't have anywhere to go, so it could be whatever.
Yeah?
Same, I guess we could keep hanging out. Terry snorted and readjusted her grip on her thighs. Don't sound too sure there, Cove. By this point, you can see your house. I'm taking you along to make the trip. The conversation continued with everyone throwing out suggestions. Are people hungry? She looked from face to face in inspection. Cove and Randy shrugged in concert. Baxter didn't react. No one was overtly opposed to it. However, you weren't really starving. It wasn't quite a mealtime. We could get dessert. Randy put a finger to her lip and thought. With a smile, her voice became more confident. Yeah, that would be fun. Terry considered it and then shot Randy a thumbs up.
Sure.
Sounds great to me. I can definitely go for that. Of course you can, Cove. Cove. I don't know why we asked Cove about food-related things. Cove is going to eat anything. This man is a vacuum. And it disappears. There's like a whole scene where he picks you up after work pretty late at night and you guys stop at a fast food place and he orders just about like one of everything on the menu and eats it all. Just everything. He just inhales it. I'm fine with that if everyone else wants to. He's gonna eat the sun. He fucking might. And he would still be hungry afterwards. That's the kind of person Cove is. When the topic of his dessert was raised, Baxter hummed with interest. This caught everyone else's attention, as nothing else had drawn a comment from him in a while.
What do you think?
If that's the next event, would we be willing to try ice cream and similar frozen treats? Oh, that's right. I like the sound of that. This is actually a really cute event. I forgot what this was.
Why?
But why? Baxter shook his head ruefully. Truthfully, the one thing I want to do while I'm here is see an ice cream truck in person. My hometown doesn't have one, and neither is there one around my campus. It's a summer tradition that I have missed. You and Cove stared at him blank-faced. Randy pressed her lips together and shot a glance at Terry. Her expression was like a stone. That was a dramatic drop in the mood. Am I being gulchily tersely right now? He was entirely off in the guess. Baxter could only watch helplessly as the people around him remained unusually sober. Cove voiced the consensus of the locals. I've never been to an ice cream truck either.
What?
What? What? Are you serious? Randy nodded her head and Baxter's composure shifted to incredulity. Me neither.
Nope.
Same. When Baxter turned his head to you, you had nothing to offer. Sorry. There isn't an ice cream truck in Sunset Bird.
That's...
We have an ice cream stand on the shopping street. It's not exactly the same, but that's how it is. Oh, and sometimes we get ice cream at the park during big events. That was from a cardboard box, though. Still not a truck. Only gone to ice cream parlors. Got ice cream from the freezer part of the grocery stores. Ooh, shit. No. I didn't mean to click that. Oh! Okay, it's fine.
Me too.
Uh-huh. But sometimes my family makes it homemade. Baxter grinned, for once on the same ground as his new companions. I've normally only eaten it at restaurants after a meal. I never realized that ice cream trucks were so rare. Yeah, I wonder actually how many people have been to an ice cream truck. I have. Unexpectedly, Cove was the first to agree with Baxter. He narrowed his eyes and spoke firmly. Then yeah, let's find a truck. I've got to do it at least one time. Of course Cove wants to.
Yeah.
Yeah, Baxter's onto something. We've all been missing out. Harry raised a fist in the air in a dramatic pose. There has to be an ice cream truck somewhere in California. Oh, okay. Baxter brightened more, seeing his suggestion received support. Randy smiled at him. You can only guess at her first impression of Baxter, but given how she had relaxed around him, you imagine he was growing on her. He wasn't as exceedingly self-assured as he came across at first blush, but it was nicer when Baxter was confident.
Let's do it.
That sounds fun. Let's look it up. Randy searched into her bag and dug around for her phone. She pulled out a hair scrunchie, a small notepad with unicorns, and a bundle of chunky keychains. Her phone remained elusive. Just give me a sec. The rest of the group's mouths pulled into tentative, hopeful grins. There was an air of slight disbelief. My purse is also like that. It was worse in like high school and stuff because I would carry like my iPad and drawing pad and a book and Cove mulled it over while tapping his foot. Wherever it is, we're going to have to drive to get there. I think so. None are in town, right? And everywhere else is far away. She finally retrieved her phone and started to search on her Maps app. She tapped her screen with a frown.
I'm not sure.
It's already late afternoon, too. Wonder if ice cream trucks are even still going around. We have to believe it's too soon to give up. Cove nodded, patting at his pockets. They were tellingly empty. I'll get my keys.
It's doable.
No need. Allow me. I asked to do this. It's only fair that I be the one to cover transportation. Besides, it's a rental. We may as well make the most of it while I have it. Which, by the way, you can't rent a car at 19. At least not in California. You're not allowed to rent a car at 19. Alright. So, you know, just saying. Cove raised his shoulders in a bewildered shrug. Baxter ran his fingers through his hair to swipe his bangs, and they fell exactly back into place afterwards. I will turn in only a moment. Harry shot him a thumbs up, and Miranda mumbled absent-mindedly, focused on her task. Baxter flipped towards his condo and headed off, his strides long and determined. Oh. Cove raised his voice at Baxter's back. We'll put our stuff away while you're off doing that. Baxter peered over his shoulder and answered.
Good.
Very good. Baxter was soon out of sight, and Cove had gathered up all of his things into a sturdy hold. He gestured with his chin to his house. We can use my place for storage. You're on board with that. You shifted your things around so they'd be more comfortable to move. Thanks, Cove. He appreciated his offer for the simple truth that his dad would care way less about the mess than your mom's. Cove led the group to file into the Holden household. Randy brought up the rear, stumbling behind Terry. She was being led by the arm while still keeping her eyes on her phone. Who said eating meat? Cove eats everything and is always hungry still. Cove will eat the whole menu from a fast food place and still be hungry. Cove would eat the sun. Cove led the group. Yeah, I already read that. Sandy towels are dropped in a heap on the living room floor, one after the other. No one wasting even a second with organization, taking cues from Cove's rush. I need a minute. Gonna grab a shirt. He darted down the hall, his steps loud on the hard floor. Oh. Let's just go for a cover-up. It's fun. I'll be right back. No problem. You bounded out the door and straight across the street. Then, careful to not track too much debris into your house, you dashed to your room at breakneck pace. You threw on cover-up and rejoined the others. They were already standing outside Cove's house again. Baxter's shiny black vehicle idled on the street nearby. Cove went for a seat in the back without consideration. He was not going to be in front. I would, though. Shotgun. With you going to the passenger seat, Randy and Terry followed Cove.
Hello.
Welcome to my car, friends. Do we know where we're going? Randy nodded slightly and leaned forward to hold her phone up. Her persistence had bared fruit. There's some suburbs surrounding the city where ice cream trucks have routes during the summer. I can't tell exactly where they're going to be when we get there, though. That is more than enough. The two conferred on directions until Baxter decided to route towards a random neighborhood street in the area as a starting point. He took off, the car gliding across the road with minimum vibration affecting the cabin. It was the smoothest ride you'd ever had in a vehicle. In the heat of the excitement, Terry reached up from the middle seat and punched on the music. It connected to Baxter's song list, and your eardrums were struck by a pounding of a regular drum. A guitar riff shrieked out after. It was a punk metal track. I mean, sure thing, Baxter. This is your kind of music. Who knew it was his? Whatever. As the drive continued, the music brought an almost surreal feel to the trip. The shredding guitars and shouted lyrics were a weird contrast to your goal of finding an ice cream truck. It inserted the humorous mental picture of ice cream truck playing screaming metal punk instead of the twinkling tunes to summon children for icy treats. Zipping through the length of Sunset Bird in no time, you flew past the now leaving sign. Past that, the car zoomed down the open road, while Randy attempted to dig up more details on the elusive ice cream trucks. Do they have socials? Maybe someone tagged them in a pic, or they're live tweeting?
Huh?
Why would an ice cream truck be on Twitter? I can't even find out their hours for sure. I believe in you. Minutes added up, as did the miles. The city got closer, but the shadows closed in faster. The sun glinted behind the distant skyscrapers. Calling it late afternoon was being generous. It was evening. Unspoken tension began to form. The odds of an ice cream truck being active dropped with every passing second. But Randy continued the search and Baxter kept driving. As planned, he turned off the highway and followed the streets into the heart of the suburbs. He rolled through the neighborhood aimlessly until... Yes! Randy beamed and shoved her phone up to the front. You found one? There's a truck still open nearby. It was on Facebook. I think if we go down their route, we'll find it at some point.
No way.
Amazing.
Never heard of that.
Yeah, who uses Facebook? People who want ice cream? Let's go. Please direct me. I can't read the post. First, take a left at this next stop sign. Baxter clicked off the music to focus on Randy's words. He also opened his window. Terry and Cove followed Baxter's lead, but Terry could get further and pushed her head out the window as far as the seatbelt would let her, hands cupped around her ears. Cove would lean farther out when he saw anything even kind of truck-shaped. Everyone had their ears and eyes wide open for any signs. If an ice cream truck was somewhere in the area, they weren't going to miss it. Yeah, fine, let's stick our head out. Why not? You pressed down the first button you saw on the door before realizing it was a seat warmer. With a laugh, you turned it back off and finally found what opened the window. It was as sleek and unobtrusive as the rest of the machine, and that made it tricky to see when you didn't know where to look. You pushed off the floor of the car and then twisted in position with your head going straight through the opening. At such a slow pace, the wind coming through whipped your hair gently, pleasantly. Much less nicely, a fine dust blew in from the street. You squinted against the dirt in the sun. It had sunk low enough to be perpendicular with your eyeline. Still no truck to be seen. The houses you passed seemed older, probably built decades ago. Some had colorful lawn decorations and well-kept flower gardens. Others were nothing but green grass. Conversation had stopped entirely once Randy had told Baxter all he needed to know. He drove through the residential streets like a hunter on the prowl. The target could have been anywhere. He turned a corner. Faint laughter filtered in through the windows. You heard birds chirping and rustling leaves, but in that moment, none of that mattered. It's not what you needed. Fingers were crossed and breaths were held. Baxter turned yet again towards the signs of life, and a new sound gradually floated in from the distance. You concentrated on the high-pitched, jingling tune. Was it? It had to be. It was the musical call of an ice cream truck. Nobody could see it yet, despite there being watchers on all sides, but the song got louder. Baxter followed it persistently, his fingers tightening their grip on the wheel. That jingle was the Pied Piper, and everyone was drawn in by it. The car came up to a crossroads and stopped. That instant, a clamor filled the car. Everyone, even the ever-relaxed Baxter, cheered or gasped in sync. An ice cream truck drove right by, in front of your very eyes. It was technically white, but covered with so many brightly colored pictures, the original pink was more of an accent. The stickers with warnings such as, "Go slow and watch for children" stood out in red, and recognizable characters and edible versions were in a grid, labeling them as 1A, or A1, or C3 for convenient ordering. It was like a moving treasure chest of frozen goodness, and the temptation was too strong for some. Still in the middle of the intersection, Cove's door popped open, and his seatbelt zipped up against the cushion with nothing left to protect. Cove was gone. I'm gonna wait for Baxter. Terry and Randy went after Cove. Terry, with her usual exuberance, yelled, "Oh yeah!" Well, I appreciate their enthusiasm. He glanced at you, not taking a turn just yet. Are you going? No.
You're good.
You're very polite. Everyone just ditched Baxter for an ice cream truck. Ah. You'd think it was much. You weren't so impatient that you throw yourself out on the street or abandon the one who drove you there. The rest of them could handle that. Cove jogged after the truck. Terry cheered and waved. Tried to catch the driver's attention. Randy skipped behind her, moving her arms in wide motions. The truck lurched to a stop. They'd done it. Excellent. Excitement was plain on his face, but Baxter cautiously turned to where the truck and your friends had gone. He parked on the opposite side and opposite end of the nearly empty street. Baxter grinned as he finally unbuckled. Shall we? You left the properly stopped vehicle and crossed the street together. The other three huddled around the large menu pasted on the broad side of the truck. As you joined the group, you could feel the anticipation of a kid on their birthday, except it was somehow everyone's birthday at the same time. Up close, you could see the images were faded. They weren't as vibrant as they should have been, and chips of paint were flaking off. If anything, the wear and tear increased the charm. It was real, and it was just as you had imagined. You were finally experiencing a quintessential summer ritual. The order window lifted, and the driver gave a hearty greeting. Good evening, all you strange teenagers. Good evening to you. Hi.
Hey.
Hey.
Sorry.
Hi, thanks for stopping for us. Sorry for chasing you. No, thank you for stopping by. Can I get you anything? Strange teenagers? Absolutely. He beamed with victory, a cat who got his cream. Then he gave his first check over the options and shrugged. However, we do require a moment. Of course, no problem. Take your time. That started the great ice cream discussion. Ice cream was a serious business and took consideration. Miranda was firmly in the camp of actual ice cream options, making the valid point that you'd come for ice cream. Terry wasn't convinced, neither was Cove. Getting ice cream obviously didn't mean you actually had to get ice cream. Anything from the truck counted. The debate ended with no agreed on winner. Everyone just got what they wanted. Hi again. I'd like a coconut popsicle. Sure, let me get that for you. She reached over into the freezer and pulled out the first of the treats. She handed it to Cove and he passed her some cash. I'll have one of those snow cones. And can I have a chocolate dipped ice cream cone, please? D4? They both received their treats, paid, and stepped away to clear the way. You decide to order. Alright, we got lots of options, right? Alright, so obviously I feel like we do need to do like a quintessential ice cream truck treat, right? Like, I mean, we can get a lot of these anywhere. But you know, the one thing that you can't really, I mean, you can, but it's more difficult to get outside of like a park or an ice cream truck. A cartoon face. Again, you can get them elsewhere, but it's not quite as common, right? Right. You see what I'm thinking here? I think we have to. We have to go with the cartoon face. Baxter, meanwhile, had yet to finish staring at the menu with intense scrutiny. His eyes went over the rows of advertised frosty desserts long after everyone else already had theirs. It's getting awkward, especially for a lady in a truck who would be stuck there until he finally got around to ordering something. Terry tried to break the ice, or ice cream, and cracked a joke. Get the ice cream sundae cup. The ice cream is totally white and the chocolate sauce looks almost black. She found that to be a side splitter, but it didn't even make a dent in Baxter's reverie. The world around him was lost to the palace of his mind. Baxter? Still no reaction. A new strategy was needed. Terry stuck a hand right in front of his face, cutting him off from the pictures, taking all his attention. He blinked, and the spell of those tantalizing treats was broken.
I'm sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry. Is something the matter? That's what we want to ask you. You've been quiet for a while. Yes, I have been. Baxter put a hand to his chin and popped his hip out to one side. The focus that had been so centered on the truck was now set upon the rest of you. That pose in his already eccentric style, Baxter looked like a side character in a cartoony mystery game. One that was definitely not the criminal, but still needed to be cross-examined for important details. My problem is this. I'm not sure if I should get a dessert that's to my usual taste. If I do, I'd be certain to enjoy whatever comes around the ice cream truck. That would be nice. While on the other hand, this may only happen once. Perhaps it'd be more rewarding to get something new. An option that would be challenging to find in a common store. Exactly! I know the cartoon faces don't taste good. I know that. But at the same time, you gotta. Which will add more to the experience. Indulgence or novelty? I want to make the right choice. Yeah, how about this? You get whatever you want and you can share my cartoon face. As long as you don't get the same things, you'll be able to sample 2 different treats.
It's settled.
No! The way to a man's heart, everybody. Food. Well, I can't reject such generosity. In that case, my decision is made.
Fun.
Yay! Success. Indeed. But now you're going to have to bear with me. He said so teasingly. It was all self-directed. I promise it's not what you think. I am being entirely honest. I'm going to get my preferred treat of this type to eat. Okay? Why would we have a problem with that? It's because my favorite is an ice cream sandwich. That's what I should have suggested, not the sundae!
So great.
It's the perfect black and white selection for Baxter. Of course it is. Yes, that's true. Probably should have guessed that one. Baxter ran his hand across his bangs, his smile sweeping into a grin at the same time. It's obvious he knew exactly what he was doing. Far from being bothered by your laughter, it seemed like that was what he was aiming for all along.
You know.
I cannot deny that I originally tried them because of the colors. It had been picked out for me because I assumed they appreciate having a black and white dessert, which I did. But they were the tastiest type of simple ice cream treat to me, and simply a coincidence, or perhaps it was meant to be. If you insist, monsieur. I believe you. Go get your sandwich. Baxter approached the truck determinedly and leaned against the counter. He spoke briefly to the patient ice cream lady, and then money was exchanged. In return, he got his prize. The coveted ice cream truck treat was finally in his hand. After one more thanks to your crowd, the ice cream sales lady shut the side window. The truck slowly began to move. Your friend shouted and waved and gave grand farewells, wishing her well on her journey, bringing treats to the young and old. She beeped the horn a couple times in a cheer of her own. The truck eventually disappeared beneath the skyline, and you, along with the others, ambled across and up the road towards Baxter's car with treats in hand. Randy and Terry giggled about something you couldn't quite catch. But it became apparent that the minute they exchanged cones and took a lick each. Actually, using the word lick might have been generous. Terry! A peek at Randy's half-eaten ice cream and the vanilla and chocolate smeared all over Terry's mouth said all that was needed to be said about the situation. Terry pitched forward, clutching her head, the cone nearly hurtling to the ground as she pressed into her temples with both hands.
Ooh.
Ah, karmic justice. Brain freeze, huh? It was hard to keep a smile from showing on your face. Yeah, well, looks like it. Oops. She might have deserved it. You snickered to yourself, trying not to laugh too loudly. Then Cove pinched the edge of his popsicle stick, waving it like an accusatory finger at Terry's direction before taking a bite off the top. The regret was immediate on his face the minute he crunched down on it. He stiffened into a Cove-sicle. You couldn't say he didn't deserve it. Luckily, both Cove and Terry made full recoveries after a minute. Cove bumped his shoulders into yours. He was careful it didn't send you flying. Hey. Hi. He was the one who approached you, yet his eyes didn't meet yours. Instead, they were sharply focused on the dessert clasped in your hand. Oh my god, Cove. Child! You are not the one that I offered to share with. Cove. His blue eyes finally met yours in a single fluid motion. The look was pleading. Cove was never good at hiding what he wanted. Then again, he never really made a point of trying to be. His mouth didn't even need to voice the intention, the desperation, but it still did. We're gonna share, right? Yeah, you can try, and so can everyone else. We're all sharing. Oh, our most graceful and generous benefactor. You have given us a treat. Maxer has given Dobby a treat. Cove smiled as Terry bid him to join in the act. Oh,
Sure.
sure. A boon for the houses Holden, Brooke, and Airket. How about her broke it? No.
Very nifty.
Love it. That's our castle's name. When did we get a castle? The question went without an answer. Pass it over, buddy. Randy nibbled at her cone through chuckles as Terry took an enthusiastic taste of your treat and followed that with an approving nod. Are you done yet, you dessert hog? Nope, that's the trick, Randy. I never have enough. Yeah, you and Cove. 2 peas in a pod. She grinned, her teeth were blue. Well, I too am generous and benevolent. Randy did a mock curtsy, holding her cone out to you like it was a fancy goblet. Please do me the great honor of a taste test. This quick enough exchange met with Randy's queenly approval after you had a selection of your ice cream yourself. You can try mine, I don't need any.
Really?
Oh, are you sure? It wasn't like him to deny a treat, but it also wasn't like him to take something without paying it back in spades either. Not since you were little kids anyways. He fidgeted uncomfortably, nails scraping against the thin wood of his popsicle stick. I wouldn't have offered it if I wasn't sure. Your reassurance set him at ease again. He gratefully took your cartoon-faced popsicle in hand to sample himself. A number of reactions shifted through his features. Curiosity at first, intrigue, confusion, before finally settling on something neutral. Good? Once he had his fill, he passed it back and made an okay gesture with his now free hand. Thanks, Mimi. The others continued chatting as you clocked that there was a notably absent figure from the party. It was your 5th and newest addition to the group, who had also happened to be the one who drove you guys here and made the plan in the first place, Baxter. Your eyes followed the retreating backs of Randy and Terry, then to Cove, who had already started to outpace you the minute you relaxed. You attempted to see if Baxter had gone even further ahead. There were no signs of that monochromatic color scheme you'd gotten so good at spotting. A low chuckle from behind you gave away the ghost. His tone was chill as always, though it was even more fitting considering the theme of the moment frozen dessert delights. I wonder what it is you're searching for, Mimi. You felt bad not noticing that he'd been quiet since you gave your well wishes and sent the truck off on its way. Imagine he would have fit himself in the conversation without much issue, but he hadn't. Instead, he hung out at the very end of the crowd, inspecting his dessert for the gravity of a man who only just faced his fear of the ocean for the first time. You slowed to a stop altogether and waved on the others when they checked on you. Baxter's walk turned into a brief jog, aware that you were waiting and not wanting to keep you. There wasn't long before he came up from behind. You fell in the step beside him, the two of you silent as he passed a wandering glance in your direction. You can still try mine if you want. It's okay if you don't want to. No, I do. Wonder turned to relief once you made it clear you hadn't forgotten the promise. I merely intended to wait my turn. How polite. Baxter held an open palm out, waiting for the pre-offered treat to be handed over. Oh my god, I can't read. But when you moved it closer, he hadn't picked up the dessert. Instead, Baxter held your wrist, keeping the cartoon-faced popsicle steady, and leaned in to try it from you directly. His fingers were long and delicate, and they were cold.
Thank you.
Thank you. He noticed your reaction and grinned deviously as he retreated to a respectful distance again. Even though he had let go, it still felt tingly where his touch had been.
I love it.
Would you care to try mine? It's delicious. You know, I better be able to choose to do the same damn thing. Yes. It was messy to snag a bite when the cookie part of the sandwich crumbled to dust after your teeth made contact. The ice cream nearly dropped as you fought to get both in your mouth. Okay. Baxter broke out into an easy laughter. He revealed a stack of napkins from his pocket. He offered you a couple for your troubles and returned the rest. Took a napkin, thankfully, and wiped the sticky residue off your face. Well, you thought you did. Baxter lightly tapped his right cheek, a hint at where your plans had gone astray. As soon as he pointed out, you could feel the crumbs linger. Ah, you could feel the crumbs linger there. Crumbs lingers? Okay, that's why I'm having a stroke, because it's wrong. The crumbs lingering there. You scrub them away with embarrassment. He had no more tips then. All smiles. Wanted to thank you, by the way. He chuckled as he took another napkin out from his pocket. He didn't pass it to you and instead fiddled with the edge of it. Maybe to give him something to do other than stare at you or the ground.
I appreciate the understanding.
You likely didn't think much of it, but I appreciate you accompanying me now. And for including me in the event on the whole.
Hey, buddies.
Hey, buddies. Terry waved her snow cone on high as she called out to both of you. When did the others get to the car? You paced yourselves in hopes of not keeping them waiting for long. Terry was always excitable. Baxter followed your lead. Terry pointed her partially melted snow cone towards Baxter as soon as he came close enough. I want to try yours too! Mine's a little slushy now, but that's half the appeal. He gave his ice cream sandwich to Terry, taking the paper cone in exchange. And for reference, what is the other half? Turns your tongue blue.
Really?
Didn't you get a cherry? Yup. Are you sure that you didn't get the wrong one? I'm not sure about anything in this life. What? Okay, so Terry ordered a cherry snow cone and then got like blue raspberry or something. After they got a chance to try each other's dessert, Baxter and Terry swapped again. Then Baxter leaned against his car hood while everyone else happily situated themselves around the area. Randy and Terry took seats on the sidewalk curb, apparently heatedly debating the possibility of blue cherry being a real flavor. Terry had fair argument considering raspberries weren't blue, and yet blue raspberry did exist for some reason. Cove hovered nearby, crouching himself on the summer-warmed asphalt. He stretched and strained, trying to lick a stream of melted coconut popsicle running down his arm. Cove, you're going to sprain your tongue? Well, that's something you never thought you'd say. Ignoring your well-intentioned warning, he pressed on, his face squished against his forearm, tongue angling to try anyways. I can do it. It's personal now. The limits of the human body were a pain, but it was still pretty funny to watch him try to fight against it. With the absence of the ice cream truck's music and the thrill that came with that, the street seemed entirely different. The houses quietly lined the street, and you now heard the rush of the wind. Branches swayed overhead in the breeze, and the leaves rustled. It didn't carry the comforting smell of sea salt. So, here we are. Terry hurriedly licked the side of her snow cone. She leaned on her fist, the arm propped on a raised knee. Her tongue was extremely blue now. Far away from where we belong and who knows where, camped out in front of some random suburban person's house. Randy tilted her head back to look at the mailbox mounted to the concrete. Rocking to one side, she craned her head to get a read of what the number on the side of it was. Thank you to the fine people of 231, whatever this street is.
Thanks.
Sure, thanks to people... thanks people of 231 whatever street. Right, and thanks for driving us all the way here, Bax. Can I call you Bax? I'm going to call you Bax. Or B-Man. She's going to call him anything. Before he could answer, Terry sucked in a bit of air and waved it off.
Nah.
No, that's not right. I'll work on it. Terry. Baxter chuckled, taking another bite of his sandwich. There's no need to thank me. It was exactly what I wanted to do. It was totally worth it. Yeah,
Oh yeah.
for sure. Definitely. Absolutely. The sky grew pinker and yellower, and you knew the day was soon going to come to a close. Somehow it felt wrong. They had gone too fast to be over. Though summer never seemed long enough these days. As you were about to voice that thought, you heard the dim sound of something gurgling. That immediately replaced the words that came out. Hey, did you guys hear that? I did! Yeah, what was that? Neither of the boys replied to the question except for shakes of the head and shrugs in the negative. There was no time for a follow-up question because the answer came in the form of a psh, psh. Water bubbled and then shot up gracefully in arcs all around. Droplets splattered onto the paved driveways and were coming towards the sidewalk next. Sprinklers! Randy made a break for it, dashing into the street with the speed of an Olympic sprinter. Randy, wait up! Terry leapt to her feet. Her shoes hit the concrete with wet slaps while Baxter wordlessly searched for cover himself from the surprise spray, meandering away without any urgency. Baxter even had time to finish the last bite of his ice cream sandwich. I mean, what difference does it make? It's fine. Sure, you gotten a little wet, but water was water, and you were hardly a stranger to it. You used to run through sprinklers as a kid. It would dry pretty quick. But Cove didn't even so much as flinch. He only stood in his full height with his back to the car, a popsicle stick prodding out of his mouth. He glanced over at the others and grinned as he withdrew the stick clean.
Oh?
How about this water-based activity? We're all still in swimsuits.
Exciting.
Oh, well, isn't that an interesting proposition? The challenge had been issued and Baxter threw down the gauntlet. No! Why? Cove's eyes popped open with shock. He didn't allow surprise to keep him from moving. He darted off to the lawns. I just want to say that we are a group of strange teenagers. 5 strange teenagers, yes? Running through people's lawns. It's such a weird thing. I don't know why. He darted off to the lawns as Baxter came sprinting from behind. It looked more like Cove was running away from him rather than into the sprinklers. My snow cone! Terry complained, sticking the paper cone higher in the air. She stayed well and good away from the sprinkler spray.
No.
It'll melt. Terry had a wetsuit on, but it wasn't going to protect her snow cone by a long shot.
Let's do it.
Aw, come on, Terry. Live a little. In spite of the fact that Randy had led the charge for cover, she was easily convinced to jump into the fray. Skipping to the sidewalk with her ice cream in tow, she waved the 2 boys down to stop and wait for her. Terry sidled up to your side, clutching her, honestly, already melted dessert. Her eyes kept going between her much-beloved treat and the sparkling sprinklers, but she seemed to have chosen to preserve the sanctity of the snow cone instead. I'll stick with Terry. It was a bad idea to get soaked in the middle of nowhere, and abandoning Terry and her time of need seemed heartless. Terry smiled at you gratefully and lightly bumped her shoulder into yours. We'll support you from here, buds. It might not have been a priority for you to go running through the sprinklers with everyone else, but Terry did say you guys were going to support them from the sidelines. Let's do live sports commentary with Terry. How did they do it during those golf tournaments Liz used to force the entire family to watch? Touching a finger to your ear, you leaned over at Terry conspiratorially. We are coming to you live from whatever street, where it appears 3 of our best athletes are attempting the sprinkler vault. She stared back at you blankly before the realization finally struck her. Right. Mimicking you, she slapped a hand over the side of her head and spoke into her snow cone / microphone.
Uh-huh.
I see our first runner, Cove Holden, is starting strong with a slide across the grass. Oh, but he shifted his weight from his foot to his ankle! It'll be hard to recover, but let's see if he can stick this landing. Oh, okay, yeah. Cove managed to balance himself before he ended up crash landing into the ground. Terry whooped as you suck your arms to mimic a football goal. Football goal. That's good! What a champ. While you were talking to Terry about how much longer the sprinklers were gonna go already, you heard Randy cry out in surprise. She's covering her mouth and held what remained of her crumbling sugar cone. The ice cream had fallen, abandoned to the grass. It was one thing to have damp ice cream, but it was another if it fell to the ground altogether. Everybody stopped, except for the sprinklers on their back and forth paths, and Terry Brooke. Terry was gone from your side before you even blinked. She dashed straight towards Randy like someone on a life or death mission. She slid across the grass until she got a leg up. On one knee, she offered her snow cone, which wasn't much of a snow cone at this point, up in offering. Randy, will you do me the great honor? Oh. Randy lit brighter than Amy's star, giggling as she wiped the last streaks of ice cream from her fingers. She took the offered snow cone, dark hair falling forward as she smiled softly at Terry. Terry bounced up from the ground, dusting off what grass had adhered itself to her legs. You know, it was just ice cream. I would have survived. Terry was aghast, her hand at her clavicle before she reached out for the snow cone.
All right.
All right, taking it back then. Nope, you already gave it to me. His eyes met yours as you turned in the direction of the boys, and he smiled, shrugging as if to say he didn't know what to do either. The two were already invested in a new game of keep away until Cove stole it right out of their hands, only to be immediately dogpiled by both. Oh. He turned to search for Baxter to see if he was going to join the fray, but he was distracted. His attention was squarely fixed on Miranda and Terry, watching as they argued about whose snow cone it was and if Cove really had a stake in the matter. I see. He hummed, stroking his chin with consideration, before brown eyes met yours, and the thoughtful expression gave way to a lax smile. He chuckled, gesturing to them as he gave you a look as if to ask if this was typical. An answer to which you readily provided a big thumbs up. Ow, I just hit my footstool. Oh, I just kicked my footrest. Oh. Ouchies. 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 Ow. I'm okay. Ouchies. Jesus Christ. Alright, let's just join everyone. You shrugged, laughing before you abandoned your shoes in the road and came charging after the others. Dryness be darned. Hey, nice job.
I'm on it.
For Randy? Anything. Terry beamed in reply, elbowing Cove in the ribs before the sudden hiss. Another sprinkler rising from its earthly tomb reminded her where they were. Randy shotgunned the rest of Terry's snow cone. A champion was born. Terry responded by crushing the paper cone against her forehead, to Randy's delight, though she did get some of the syrup in her eye. And it wasn't long before that interlude was forgotten. Dashing and leaping resumed in earnest. But all good things must come to an end. Eventually, the sprinklers retreated into the ground, and all that remained of the celebration was 5 dripping young adults. Boo! I was just getting started. It should have gone longer. Honestly, I think it went on really long for being a bunch of sprinklers. The sun was situated almost perfectly halfway below the horizon. It's probably about time to call it quits for the day. Actually, you were really sure to call it when another breeze swept by and caught on the now soaked and very cold fabric of your clothes. Shivering in place, you watch as Terry and Miranda immediately found each other again, the girls clinging desperately to each other for warmth. Cove tugged on the hem of his shirt, pinching it away from his body before allowing it to fall back with a wet slap. I should have taken this off before I went in. He promptly rectified that and took off his shirt, cheeks pinking with embarrassment when the girls took a break from the cold to whistle at him. Guys, I wasn't wearing this at the beach. It's not different now. Go from the water out before swinging the shirt over his shoulder instead of pulling it on again. Before anyone says anything, it's going to be colder wearing that than not wearing it. The damaged shirt cover-up was as bad for you as it was for him. Let's just take it off. Be more comfortable carrying it than wearing it at this point. I do regret that we did not bring our towels. He ambled to the road to pick up his abandoned shirt. Baxter then returned to the car's side, as did the entire gang. Must confess, I don't find it nearly as cold as you all seem to. Would any of you care to use this? His eyes met yours as Baxter's offered his shirt up by its collar. Yes. I am so going to take that. Thank you. Give me your shirt. Give. It's like a hoodie. I don't want to give it back. Give it to me. You draped your shirt you draped his shirt over your shoulders like a blanket. It didn't quite fit right. The fabric was thin, so it sucked up what water was still on you. But when you pinched the front of it closed, it kept the wind out better, and that was enough. It wasn't immediately obvious at first between the earthy smell of wet grass and damp asphalt, but you picked up on the scent of something heaty and floral. That definitely wasn't you, and it sure wasn't this neighborhood or Cove or the girls either. The thought was nearly put aside until you burrowed deeper in his shirt to trap what warmth you could, that you realized it was probably Baxter's cologne. To the side, Terry and Randy remained linked. Their knees were practically knocking into each other. You couldn't pry them apart with a crowbar if you tried. That had to be effective. Yeah, let's try and get a hug from good old Baxter, buddy. Baxter, you shyly open your arms to him. Baxter laughed. He threw up his hands, relenting as he shifted for you to come closer. You made your way over without further fanfare, and he pulled you into a tight hug despite the water on him. He hadn't lied. He was warmer than you would have expected any of the others to be. But you couldn't exactly pretend that the goosebumps up and down his arms weren't there either. You rested your arms comfortably around his waist. You doubly confirmed the rich scent was his cologne, but you couldn't tell what the smell was exactly. It smelled pleasant, though. You only noticed it more once you started to think about it. Caught up in your own reverie, you hadn't noticed when he leaned in closer, his lips to your ear.
Perfect.
Your thoughtfulness is appreciated, Mimi, and so is your body heat. The shock nearly made you pull away from him. Your hand shot up to cover your ears with embarrassment. Baxter played innocently, only smiling as the others watched you both suspiciously. It was a sudden call from Cove that made you remember exactly where you were. When you looked over Baxter's shoulder, Cove glanced away as he awkwardly scratched his cheek. Terry! Wow, get him real. Terry, I'ma beat your ass. Terry, I swear to God. Baxter's chest rumbled in a low laugh, nodding in agreement as he released you from his embrace. He did, however, allow his arms to settle comfortably around your shoulders. Baxter then gave the group a once-over. Randy and Terry were still chattering their teeth, and Cove, in spite of claims to the contrary, wasn't doing too hot either. Be no trouble if we were to return now. I truly don't mind if the car gets wet. Randy and Terry vehemently and loudly disagreed with the suggestion. It's a rental. They'll probably charge you if we track all this water in.
You know.
Not exactly. We can at least wait until we're not dripping everywhere anymore, right? Even if we're not all the way dry. He glanced at the car, and then to the others. Baxter already started reaching for the door handle when they disagreed. He allowed his hand to fall to the side. I suppose it would be tragic to ruin leather upholstery. Thank you. It is kind of you to be so considerate.
In that case...
I am certain my acquaintance will appreciate it. Cherry mouth acquaintance. To Randy, then over to you, only to be met with equally confused shrugs from you both. Cove shook his head until water started flying from his hair. It splattered against the side of the car, already wet from the sprinklers earlier. Hey! Cove! If it's fine with Baxter, then we can stay a little while longer. Absolutely. Staying longer didn't mean staying still, though. You and the others walked down the sidewalk, sandals and shoes squelching on the residual wetness, oh my gosh, as you made your way throughout the neighborhood. The neighborhood, but not your neighborhood.
So...
It's weird. It doesn't smell like the ocean. Cove's nose crinkled as your head perked up. He smiled as if to confirm the two of you had been on the same page the minute he even mentioned it.
Oh, yes.
I find the sound of long clippings rather relaxing, personally. Huh. Okay. Your band of 5 continued to meander past the street sign, and Terry narrowly managed to avoid getting her shoe stuck in a gap in the concrete. You know something? I know a lot of somethings. Randy offered cheekily, grinning from ear to ear. She looked in your direction. I don't know how we got from the beach to here. But very important quest for ice cream, remember? She swatted Baxter in the side with her free arm. He rubbed at the place, and you wonder if it actually hurt him or if it was just further dramatics.
Hey.
Hey, you can add sprinkler running to your list of water-based summer activities. And since we're talking about your past water exploits, Cove already tensed up before Terry even asked her question. How'd you end up skinny dipping anyways? Cove dropped his face in his hand, shaking in disbelief, while Randy snorted a quiet oh my gosh. You remember that Cove was the one who brought up water-based activities to get Baxter's sprinkler running in the first place, but you weren't going to mention that.
What?
What? You guys aren't curious? I'm asking what we're all thinking. The people want to know. I'm the people. It wouldn't have been obvious. You responded at all if it wasn't for the slight pressure against your arm. Baxter gave a half shrug of his free arm. It's not nearly as intriguing as you might imagine.
Honestly.
I believe it was about 3 years ago. So he is 16. I was vacationing at a lake cabin and was dared by those in my company. A dare? A tale as old as time. I believe it was around midnight and the water was freezing, but it did make for a memorable trip. As I said, it isn't particularly a remarkable story. When you heard the sparse details, it was easy to believe. That seemed exactly the kind of thing that Baxter would do. He may be accommodating, but the minute that Cove challenged him to something, it was on.
Now.
More remarkable was today's adventure, I wager. It's not every day that I am able to go running through sprinklers or chase an ice cream truck across the city. Much less with such delightful company. Oh, you. Terry let one hand dangle daintily. Her opposite one was covering her mouth as she acted like one of the many old ladies you could find around Sunset Bird. Baxter didn't reply. His gaze now fixated on the sidewalk in front of him as you all continued ahead, one square of concrete after another. No, truly. It reminded me I'm not nearly as old as I might sound. He grazed the back of his neck with his hand, holding it there. Then he stared up at the sky, but it was clear he wasn't staring at the clouds. He was searching for something past it that wasn't there anymore. Yet, the last time I've done anything of this nature was when I was a child, running around with my old friends and causing havoc to our poor, unsuspecting town. Which is actually the second game. They're making a second game. It's a demo currently. And it's his childhood home. So it's technically a prequel. So that one you're in his childhood town growing up together. Apparently we're not going to be able to date Baxter, but I promise you, devs, I will pay like $100 for DLC of him. Please, 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 please make Baxter romanceable in the other game too. Please, I'm begging you. I need more Baxter. I need more. Glad you suggested it. Baxter hummed comfortably, allowing the conversation to lapse into silence. The twilight stroll continued until the sky turned dark and street lamps flickered on. Even as night fell, you thought there might still be a chance to cling to the thread of this day. Everyone was sufficiently dried enough, anyway, to not consider yourselves liabilities. When the vehicle came into view, Cove mumbled. Staying outside in swimsuits until it's nighttime getting ice cream really is like we're kids again. Not just like being kids, but kids on a vacation. Well, Baxter is on vacation, but it's like someone's birthday or the 4th of July. Fireworks! Christ, Terry. Baxter dropped his keys, startled, when Terry suddenly screamed.
Sorry.
Oh, sorry. He waved off the apology, kneeling down to pick them up. That was the second time his attempts to open the car had been interrupted. Perhaps third time would be the charm. What was that about? We can't go home yet. Just remember that there were fireworks today. Cove and Randy looked at one another before they turned their scrutiny on Terry.
Huh?
For what? You celebrate an opening or something. We probably can't get into the real event, but we can see it with our eyes for free. She made 2 circles with her hands, holding them up to her aforementioned eyes as she advanced closer to Cove, who lightly pushed her back with a hand. They can't stop the public out from from seeing explosions in the sky.
Seriously?
Really? Another last-minute rush trip? Cove considered the suggestion, but ultimately shook his head no. Thought we were ready to go home. Oh, come on, Cove. Don't be a wet blanket. Terry wrote him off, unlikely aware that Cove could not help being wet. Turning to face you, Randy and Baxter, the 3 that stood in the way of her night continuing for an hour or 2 more.
So?
What about you, Mimi? Randy? Baxter? Want to see some fireworks? Terry continued on without waiting for an answer. Isn't today all about summer experiences? What's more summer than fireworks? I mean, if it's fireworks, we gotta go. I guess they are fireworks. Alright. Whatever. What's one more scene change?
I'm on it.
Yes, I knew this was a good idea. In turn, 4 sets of eyes looked to Baxter. As the driver, his answer made or broke the plan. He chuckled softly. In for a penny, in for a pound. I'll go.
Honestly.
Genuinely. There's nothing better to occupy my time tonight. We better hurry or we might miss it. Cove rolled his eyes but laughed. There was no time to lose. The fireworks were sure to start soon. If you didn't want to miss any part of it, that meant you needed to book it now. The gang hurried into the car and were slowly blessed with the warmth after Baxter turned on the heater and it began to kick in. Terry wiggled in her seat, proudly announcing that she had the additional gift of seat warmers to the envy of everyone else in the car. However, the goal wasn't to sit there, enjoying the modern accommodations. It was to get back out of the car as quickly as possible. It took a while to get out of the winding streets of the neighborhood, but eventually Baxter reached the freeway and zipped straight into the city. For the second time that day, you were met with the silhouettes of the skyscrapers in the near distance, but now they were illuminated by explosive bursts of greens and purples. It's starting! Oh no, are we going to miss it? Baxter's hand rested on the gear shift, digits curling against the handle before he switched into the right lane to exit off the freeway. Wait, the GPS said... No, there's somewhere outside the city that I intended to visit. I believe we can stop by there and catch the show. It's an unblocked viewing area.
Oh, yeah.
Baxter, you are brilliant!
Woo!
Like, I love Terry, man. Terry's great. Pedal to the metal! Unless you're already speeding, then don't go any faster. Coven U-turned towards Randy, but she was hardly paying attention. Her hands covering her cheeks as she cheered Baxter on while simultaneously advocating for traffic safety. Baxter tightened his grip on the wheel, changing a few more lanes before he exited. Oh! Oh, hey, look at this loser. Hey, look at this loser. Oh, okay. We get this loser out? What is your name, my good sir? My loser buddy here. Bam! I don't care about your stupid viewers and whatnot. Get the fuck out of here. Ha! There we go. Anyway, sorry. Changing a few more lanes before you exit and thread through another tangle of local streets. Eventually, the car rumbled to a stop as a waterside path appeared in the dark. Everyone piled out one after the other, sprinting from the parking lot. Cove, Randy, and Terry scrambled up the edge of the path at the water's edge. Baxter stayed in the middle between the start and the end, folding his arms as he hovered behind the crew. His eyes were less fixated on the sights unfolding before you than they were focused on the other three. High in the sky and far away, it was a perfect way to watch fireworks. Less crowded than it would have been in the city, and quieter there than it would have been there too. It was kind of funny. You and your group lived in or around the city almost all your lives, and it was Baxter who found this place for you to enjoy. Tourists did tend to put in effort to find scenic spots. People who could theoretically see something every day didn't always take the opportunities around them. Oh. Randy pointed out a golden firework and beamed. That's so cool. Terry held up a hand for a high five, and Randy obliged her. Terry whooped and shot you a smile.
Hey.
What color are you thinking the next one will be? Without giving Baxter a glance, Cove answered immediately. Green. It was orange. Baxter chuckled, but wasn't interested in calling Cove out for being wrong.
Hmm?
Is that your favorite color? Green.
That's...
It's one of them. I think that's nice. It matches you. And yours is black. That's one of them. Cove smirked just a little and left the conversation there. Ha! We're gonna stay next to Baxter. Baxter had continued watching the other three before he suddenly turned left. His eyes were on you as soon as you got near.
How are you?
How do you do, Mimi? Enjoying the view? Yeah? Well, that's no small relief, I will say. The others had taken notice of your absence at the waterfront and had begun migrating the crowd farther back. Baxter glanced over his shoulder when he noticed you staring at something behind him. He waved as they jogged to the car's side.
What's wrong?
Is everything okay? And are you? Randy's brow knitted together with clear worry. We can head home if you're not.
Yeah.
Yeah, no problem. They were sweet for worrying, but you shook your head. Wasn't that you're upset. You're just happier where you were. Same as Baxter. Okay, guys. Really. You can watch it where you want.
Is that all right?
Well, if you're sure. Still, despite your reassurances, Cove searched your eyes for any answers to the contrary. Oh, gosh. I had to cough. I'm sorry. Hold on. You want me to stay back with you? It's fine. Go with Terry and Miranda. Cove smiled softly before quietly retreating. He stopped, taking another look at you on his way to the water's edge, but eventually relented as you waved him on. Baxter picked a good place to watch from. Every point and every angle of the view was dazzling. The fireworks sprayed colors across the sky, and for a moment you were holding your breath before whatever came next. No words could adequately describe the anticipation. Try as Terry might, you could still hear her cheer at every new spectacle. It had been nice and toasty in the car, but since you were outside and not moving, you couldn't help wrapping your arms around yourself trying to trap the warmth. Baxter tilted closer, but kept enough distance between you to remain polite. His eyes met yours in wordless invitation, half lifting an arm in case you needed to come closer. Yeah, we are definitely going to snuggle up to him. I mean, come on. Come on, he offered. You slid into his arms, a puzzle piece fitting into the right place. He hummed, low and agreeable, as he held you close enough to press his warmth into you. You could feel his heart beat through your thin clothes. He adjusted your position so that you could both see the fireworks, and rested his head comfortably on top of yours. Your eyes continued to search the sky when Baxter spoke up. His voice was impossibly quiet, in the way that things are when it was important.
You're incredible.
You look amazing. You know that. The fireworks show immediately became unimportant. They might have all fizzled out into nothing as far as you've been aware. See, I would panic, right? Right. I'd panic. But we do need to charm him a little bit more, right? We need him to make sure he knows we are interested, right? Yeah. Do you know you're wonderful? Let's do that. Fuck it, fine. The corner of his eyes crinkled as his gaze settled on the horizon, though you couldn't tell if it was out of amusement at the situation or some unexpected shyness. In the dim light, you could make out the glare of the fireworks in his eyes. They hadn't vanished after all. I've been meaning to tell you that all day. Since we were at the beach. We were walking side by side after the ice cream truck left. And in your bedroom. Oh, the moment in your room. I came back in a rush. You've been hoping that he'd forgotten. It wasn't your intention to make him leave on such a sour note, and had only wanted to move past the discomfort. But the way that he looked at you now, you were certain he figured it all out and had been too considerate to bring it up then. Oh, this whole time Baxter had been waiting for the opportunity to say
To
something.
be honest,
Oh. It may surprise you to know I am not adept at picking my words. I care a great deal about what I say, and that it makes the correct impression. Yeah, I'm not always successful. My approach is off, really. Fortunately, even I could realize there wasn't a right moment to tell you that. Then we got here, and I thought this is what feels right. I hope I'm not wrong after all, but even if I am, the words are true all the same.
so charming.
So, you look amazing. And even after all that, I fear amazing does not adequately express what I think. How regrettable. Hold on, I have the... That's fine. There we go. Let's just cuddle closer. He said nothing else as he welcomed the embrace. When you listened for his heartbeat, you heard the thrum of a hummingbird's wings. One explosion of color followed another, and the exuberance of your friends couldn't be measured. You've seen fireworks before. There weren't anything new. But those times you had attended events before, it wasn't anything close to this. You nearly missed it. It wasn't even a show, really, for you to see. That's what made it special. The effort it took for you to get here, the place you were watching from, and the people that you were watching with. The finale of the fireworks took center stage. Dozens scattered across the sky, and the sparks of them descended into the sea below. It was as if they were impossibly far away, distant stars, and yet also close enough to reach out and touch them. In the back of your mind, you knew that there would likely never be another day exactly like this one. When it was over, it'd be over forever. And that made it a precious experience. You vowed to hold on to the memories, the feelings, and this one single moment for as long as you possibly could. Okay. We're gonna do that. Alright. I think I'm done. Done for today. That was 2 hours. We actually got through a story of it, and I'm very proud. We got through one little moment. We got 4 more. Technically, we have like 6 or 7 more if we want to do the others that aren't just his DLC, but he's in them. So, I mean, you know, we have more to do. Quite a bit more. I mean, really. We took, what, like 15 minutes to finish just the little in-between before we chose what we were doing. And then it took, like, an hour and a half to do it. So, you know. The joys. But I do need a break from talking. And I can't do anymore. Alright, let's see. We're gonna raid. Okay. Are we gonna raid Astro or Rufus? Who are we gonna raid? Meeny, meeny, money, mo. You know, I have been raiding Rufus a lot lately. How about we raid Astro? That'll be fun. Let's raid Astro. Thank you, everybody, for stopping and watching and listening to me ramble and fail to read these very simple lines. I'll be back again in a few days, hopefully. But thank you, everybody. Bye-bye.
I'm not paying for that. Thank you for also thinking the same, Kiryu.